kill her by the end of this month." In the spring of 2026, a user entered this threat into a ChatGPT prompt. He followed it with a sequence of messages detailing how he would carry out the attack. This chart illustrates the hidden safety layer of the platform. The prompt bypassed standard text generation filters and hit a high-priority safety threshold, triggering a silent alarm within OpenAI's server network. The system did not alert local police. Instead, OpenAI personnel reviewed the logs and referred the case directly to federal authorities at the FBI. Users often treat AI prompts as a private space to vent, assuming their inputs are confidential. In this case, those digital logs became the primary evidence used to intercept a credible murder plot. The suspect was Darren Zhao, a 25-year-old Florida man with a magna cum laude degree from Northeastern University and no prior criminal record. At the time, Zhao was a financial analyst at Goldman Sachs.
On paper, his profile was entirely inconsistent with that of a violent offender, which initially masked the severity of his behavior. The catalyst was a breakup. After a 6-month relationship ended in early 2026, investigators say Zhao entered a downward spiral characterized by obsession and jealousy. While millions of people use AI to organize workflows or draft correspondence, many also use it as a digital confidant. Zhao's case demonstrated the legal consequences that arise when those supposedly private reflections transition into actionable threats. According to court records, the victim ended the relationship specifically because of Zhao's erratic and controlling behavior. She chose to break up over the phone because she was afraid of how he would react to the news in person. Following the split, Zhao used multiple phone numbers and social media apps to relentlessly contact her, ignoring her repeated demands for him to stop. The harassment escalated to physical stalking. While the woman was at her gym, Zhao messaged her the name of a facility to prove he knew exactly where she was. This physical behavior established a clear pattern. The harassment had already transitioned from a difficult breakup into a campaign of active psychological terror. In March 2026, Zhao began using ChatGPT to discuss the breakup. Initially, the logs showed him processing feelings of heartbreak and jealousy. Then the language shifted. The conversation moved from emotional processing into explicit rehearsals for kidnapping, sexual assault, and murder. He outlined a specific scenario involving her gym. Zhao described approaching her with flowers, and if she rejected him, using a gun to commit a murder-suicide. To establish the credibility of the plan, Zhao told the AI he had access to a specific arsenal of firearms. He claimed he possessed an AR-15-style rifle and a Glock handgun. While his attorney later stated Zhao did not actually own these weapons, the statements in the chat logs were treated as credible threats. Using the AI to sequentially refine a violent plot is what triggered the internal flag. The system identified these messages as evidence of premeditative criminal intent, rather than a venting session. The AI scans for dense clusters of language associated with violent planning. When Zhao's prompt volume hit the red bars, he breached the safety threshold. Authorized safety personnel reviewed the chat logs and enacted their emergency policy to refer the threat to the FBI. Federal agents reviewed the dossier and coordinated with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office to conduct a physical investigation. Deputies performed a welfare check on the 21-year-old victim. She corroborated the digital evidence by providing screenshots of his physical stalking and harassing messages. The secret rehearsals in the chat logs directly mirrored the harassment the victim was experiencing in the real world. This convergence of evidence provided the specific legal grounds necessary for an immediate arrest. Zhao was arrested in May 2026. Shortly after the charges were filed, Goldman Sachs terminated his employment. He faced 3 felony charges: aggravated stalking, written threats to kill, and the illegal use of a communications device. However, on August 13, 2026, Zhao entered a guilty plea to all 3 charges as part of a negotiated agreement. He was sentenced to 8 years of probation and 2 years of ankle monitoring. He was also required to complete a batterer intervention program and a mental health assessment. The judge accepted this resolution after the victim agreed to the terms. The outcome secured immediate, long-term monitoring of the suspect without the uncertainty of a trial. Sensationalized headlines later claimed Zhao had successfully murdered his ex-girlfriend and used ChatGPT to confess. These reports were false. The victim survived, specifically because the AI's detection protocols intervened before an attack could occur. Modern AI moderation systems now prioritize identifying real-world intent. Safety protocols are specifically designed to detect when a user's language shifts from conceptual discussion to an imminent, credible threat. As these tools become a primary repository for personal thoughts, they also function as a persistent form of oversight. In a crisis, the AI is programmed to act as a witness